Be here on home court and see what he can make happen.
That's right, and I mean, there's no other way to put it. He got absolutely torched against New Albany. So he could not keep up with the handles of New Albany's point guard. But I do like Will Boucher as a player. He's an excellent playmaker. He is an excellent defensive point guard normally. I think he just got simply outmatched and outplayed against New Albany. Look for him to make a comeback tonight. Again, you could see a lot of assists out of him at any given night. He knows how to find the open man. He knows where to find the open man. He knows how to make plays. He knows how to get a man open. And most importantly, he knows how to defend the perimeter really, really well. I mean, even against New Albany, you look, he did not allow, I don't think he allowed a single three-point shot all night long. Most of his points given up came with the opponent driving inside. So look for him to improve tonight. Just the Highlanders all around looking for a rebound game here. They're all looking to improve.
My biggest fear when you look at Providence is usually when I call these games, I know some of these teams. I've watched them play here for years. You can easily go back on Max Prep, look them up. But here's the issue. There's not too much I could find on Providence. I don't know too well about their program here. The 3-0 record is the only thing that I am 100% positive on, that's actually really good despite on who they may have not played. So this is going to be very interesting. Like I said, these drills really show the difference of these teams. FC working on the shooting drills, and at the end, they were looking for some of those dives to save the ball. Providence has definitely come prepared. They knew what they wanted, and those drills look promising from them. I think we could actually have a pretty close matchup here. I always love a down-to-the-wire Hoosier Hysteria matchup. Might be a little bit unnerving on some of the fans, but I mean, that's what I want to see here. Obviously, it's going to be a very interesting game. It could easily start with a first quarter blowout and just translate into something that's insane. But I kind of want a close game, not going to lie.
Well, I mean, you go back to the FC Providence matchup last year. I was in the stands for that match. FC only won by 10. In fact, I believe they were down by 2 going into the half. So Providence has a history of strong, solid, fundamental basketball, and FC's just going to have to counter that with their own fundamentals. Their quick shooting, their driving inside, and their 7-foot-tall center that they barely use. So, granted, Providence did graduate a lot of players last year. They lost, according to a student inside Providence that I know, they lost, I believe, 3 of their 5 starters and their 6-man.
Oh, wow.
So look for a lot of fresh faces. Look for maybe a change in scheme. I mean, looking at the team, they look a lot smaller and a lot quicker. So look for some small ball type basketball out of Providence tonight.
So, and what a way to view this team here at Floyd Central High School. I mean, I've said as much as I can say about both these teams and these players. It's really going to come down to me. The defense for Floyd Central, to me, it's been pretty solid all the time. But there's been on-the-ball defense from New Albany is what killed them. I'm going to say that, especially in the fourth quarter. And if Providence can replicate even half of that, that's going to cause a problem. It's so weird how FC has worked the ball. And if Highbeard can find his way around and some of the other guards, say like Harrod and Bouch, there you go, that's great. Go with that. But if it's not working, they need to be able to understand to give it on the inside to people like Fisher, Washington, and Selahowski.
Put simply, the way New Albany beat FC last week was with speed. They simply outran the defense. And if Providence can replicate that tonight, then FC is going to be in trouble. But I think FC, in practice, I think that what they would have looked at on film is they would have said, okay, where did they beat us? They beat us by starting out on the perimeter, going inside and finding the open man either out on the perimeter or in the paint. So how do you counter that? You improve your perimeter defense. You don't let them inside and you don't let them take any open shots at all. So I think that's going to be a huge point of emphasis tonight for FC.
The last game was such an off game for FC. It's not normal for them. So it's very hard for me to interpret what I'm going to see. I don't know much about Providence, and what I've seen from Floyd Central lately personally hasn't been them. So this could rather be a very good breakout, and we're going to see the Highlanders try to take this team and run them out to the end, or we could see a very unfortunate repeat performance where they don't know where to pass the ball. The game plan's not fully set. The defense is strong, and they're going to struggle. Because that's my biggest problem. It's just when the initial play doesn't work, they don't look like they have no idea, to me, what they're doing. If it doesn't work and they reset it and it doesn't work, That's when you get those unfortunate minute 30, holding the ball in the back, not doing anything with it, trying to draw up something, and then usually a turnover happens. And it's such a waste of time and stuff. And FC, to me, just doesn't seem like a very adaptive team when game plan doesn't go.
That's right, and I mean, the best way to put it is they're missing Grant Goldman sorely, especially on the defensive end. I mean, obviously Grant Goldman, one of the better players to ever come through this program here, but they're gonna have to improve. I mean, it's like I said earlier, you have a 7-foot-tall junior sitting there in the middle. No one should be able to score on him unless it's from the perimeter. Like, put simply, that's how it should be in my eyes.
If I'm Coach Todd Sturgeon, definitely look for Sel Husky to get those early points, because inevitably he will probably get double teamed if they do go with that. So why not go on a run to start the game? That'd be a great way to get the early momentum and then get some quick and easy buckets. Another big thing that cost them last game was and you can blame some of it on the refs. There were a couple calls where even I was questionable. They had some pretty silly and, might I add, stupid fouls. I mean, just hacking a guy while he's like, one of them was almost like a clear path foul to me. It's so weird how they play stuff whenever the defense opens up and it causes a foul, and they need to just stop that.
And I said it on air that game, and I'll say it on air now. Those refs were whistle happy. Hopefully these refs aren't the same way tonight, and hopefully we get a clean game out of both teams.
I believe we had like 4 fouls in the opening 2 minutes last game. It was something like that. And very shortly here, we're going to start the national anthem as the FC Color Guard, our ROTC program, will present the colors. And again, we will see the Floyd Central Highlanders taking on the Providence Pioneers. Will be a very interesting matchup. We are all, I'm going to say, ecstatic to see it, because this is a team I'm so unaware of, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Well, I have my own personal biases against Providence, but I don't like Providence. I know most students here don't like Providence. We want to see them beat. These two teams don't like each other. It'll be an exciting matchup for sure.
I mean, at that point, it just becomes a matchup of let's see how it plays, because trust me, we're in the middle of both sides. So to the right of us or left of us, one fan is definitely going to be extremely exciting. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to pick it up. But we basically have said all we can say. We went into the players, talked about potential game plan. At this point, it is literally just execution. And to me, a bit of adaptation, because FC obviously has a game plan going into this. If it doesn't work, keep your cool. If Highbeater wants to be a playmaker, see what he can draw up. Call a smart timeout and have Sturgeon draw something new that everyone on the court can complete. Because that's also a small problem. Whenever Sturgeon calls a play, to me, one person seems like they don't get it, and that's very inefficient, and that weighs down on chemistry and communication. When you call a play, all 5 people should know the first step and the next 6 steps before it even happens. Everyone needs to be in motion. Everyone needs to know what they're doing. And that's when you get those silly passes from out of bounds, when someone doesn't know when to drive or when to cut. They need to they need a win here, FC. They blew such a lead in New Albany. It was gut-wrenching, lost against probably their biggest rival. They need a win here tonight.
Right, and the importance of this game cannot be understated in that sense. Now, Providence cannot be taken lightly. No opponent can be taken lightly. I mean, ask the football team how that worked out for them.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no other way to put it. FC needs this win, and I think Providence knows that, so they're going to do everything in their power to stop that. So look for an exciting matchup. I'm thinking high scoring. Look for Jake Highbeater to get out of his slump, and if he does get out of his slump, it will be electric.
Yeah, Cole Harris, I believe he didn't play against New Albany, if I remember that correctly. So see if he could be a factor. But right now, we are going to go to the national anthem here, presented by the Floyd Central ROTC. Once the colors have been presented, the Floyd Central Pep Band will perform the national anthem. that was your national anthem performed by the Floyd Central Pep Band. They're going to go with starting lineups here at the stadium. And defense is an effort I want to capitalize on because you have someone like Husky who is guaranteed for a bunch of rebounds. He can get a fair block depending on his positioning. We kind of talked about Highbader being a great two-way player. To me, he kind of had a little bit of foul trouble in New Albany. He picked up 2 early fouls in the first quarter. If he can play smart defense and not get any fouls with them, that is a huge improvement. And this is such a very weird atmosphere because I have my doubts about this team, but at the same time, I'm very optimistic, and I do believe this is just a one and done. That was just an off game. We shook it off, we practiced, and it's back to normal. That's what I want it to be. And of course, only what we're going to see is what the story is going to tell. And Highbreeder's definitely going to need to step it up, to say the least.
That's right. I mean, it's not just going to come down to Jake Highbreeder, though. It's going to come down to how do his teammates perform around him. And it's like we said earlier, the biggest pieces here that we have to watch are going to be Wes Salahusky, Caleb Washington. That forward duo down low, that's going to be deadly. And if they can get Wes open in the post, he's going to be unstoppable against a smaller Providence team.
That's going to be the biggest decider. Is this going to be the Jake Highbreeder show as usual, or are we going to get smart team basketball and look for those looks inside? Because it's so awkward to see how this team plays, and if they show promise in the first quarter, it's more than likely going to transcend to the rest of the game. But if they start off poorly, they find it hard to get a player opening. Because the honest answer to last game, when Jake sat out, no one wanted to shoot the ball. It was even Bouch to a degree. He had so many open looks that he didn't go anywhere with. Really, the only player that was effective and what I say did quite a good job at was Brady Moore last game. He was the player when Highbreeder set out to make the shot, drive to the basket. He is what kept trimming down that New Albany lead, and you gotta show trust to that. Because he was really underused in the fourth quarter, they need to look to hit him more. They need to get some of these guys that are more effective when Highbreeder passes to them on the smart drive, on the inside. They just need to play better as a team.
Something interesting to note out here, Wes Salahusky is not starting out on the floor at the 5, which is interesting to me against a very, very small Providence team.
Yeah, we're going to have Washington, Moore, Trippier, Bouch, and Highbreeder to start the game. Very interesting lineup. Looks like it's going to be Washington and Johnson for the tip here. We're going to start 2 up here. It's certainly going to be an exciting matchup. Homecoming night here on Joe Hinton Court. Tip off Johnson and Washington. There's the tip, and FC gets it. Highbreeder now has it. Pass it to Moore on the right wing. Loses the ball, and it gets stolen by Sexton. Drives in on bounce, spin move, puts up a layup, no good, and Moore grabs down the board. On the fast break, pass all the way side to Washington. Trippier saves the deflection. Do they give it to Bouch? Back to Trippier, right wing. Very risky pass, to say the least. They give it to Moore in the corner. They give it to Trippier. Ball finds Highbreeder. Gets a pick from Washington, gives it to Trippier to left wing. Inside pass gets stolen away by Huber.
2 turnovers on the first 2 possessions for FC. You cannot make those mistakes.
And now Sexton has it for the Pioneers. They give it to Heese. Passing the ball now, Pioneers have it. Sexton in the corner for 3. Bank shot no good as Washington brings down the board. Highbreeder has it. He'll drive in, put up a layup, driving in, and Highbreeder strikes first.
It's something to note here. He looked for his team on the first 2 possessions. He looks to be spreading the ball out more than he did last game against New Albany.
Just like that, 2-0 Highlanders lead. And stoppage in play.
Confusion on the Providence side of things.
Yeah, Providence will inbound. Possession will stay with them.
Might have been a substitution confusion.
Yeah, 2 refs were saying that's a very quick stoppage in play. Discussing with both teams, I have no idea what just happened.
That's odd. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I think you may have been right. I meant they meant to substitute, but they inbounded it too quick.
I believe Providence looking to get their game plan back on track. They played good defense the first 2 possessions. They're looking to find a way to stop Jake Highbreeder unless they're already adjusting, and I don't find that feasible.
Looks like they stop again. Right there, Williams on the Pioneers. He's also very confused. What is happening?
Both coaches are confused, to say the least.
Yeah, they're having word over at the Providence bench. Resume play, I guess.
Could be that the Providence coach was out on the court.
Maybe Williams to inbound for the Pioneers. He inbounds it to Sexton. Pioneers with the ball on the elbow. They give it out. 3 for the Pioneers. Goes in there. Shot made by Beatty.
What did I say about perimeter defense? That's going to be a huge point for the Highlanders tonight.
Bouch has it for the Highlanders. 3-2 here. Pioneers up by 1. Trippier in the corner. Stops, gives it inside to Moore. Out to Trippier. Trippier drives, gives it to Bouch. And Bouch is going to travel, driving inside. That will go to the Pioneers.
And that was an issue he had last week against New Albany as well. He had quite a few travels. They're going to have to limit those mistakes. They cannot afford to do turnover after turnover like they're doing tonight.
Sexton has it for the Pioneers. 6 minutes left in the first quarter, 3-2. Pioneers up. Beatty gives to Williams. Ball finds Sexton in the corner. They give it out to Wall. They pass it around. Pioneers still with the inside pass. They put up a layup, and that goes in for Wall. Highbreeder has it. Look to give it. It's stolen there by Sterling. Pass to Sexton. Stops, puts up a layup, and that goes in on a fast break. Timeout taken by Todd Sturgeon.
Sloppy offensive play if you're the Highlanders here. If I'm Coach Sturgeon, I am livid. They are making terrible passes. They are not being secure with the ball. They have to be smart. And so far, this Providence team is exposing every mistake. They cannot let this happen. We'd like to give thanks to the following grant writers who made this production possible: Elite Heating and Cooling, Veterans Group of Seiler Waterman LLC, Matt Construction, Nathan Rapier of Keller Williams Realty. Thank you guys. We wouldn't be here without you.
That was such a great steal there actually by Wall, and he converted on the other ends. I'm telling you, these are the Highlanders that cost them silly turnovers and easy fast break points. Hopefully that's not what we're going to see here. Moore will inbound. They give it to Highbreeder. Highbreeder's got to get something going, see if he can be the firepower. They give it to Trippier. It finds Moore in the corner. Back to Trippier. Trippier gives it to Washington. A 3 from Washington. That goes in for Washington.
It's a way to silence the crowd there. Have your 6'7" forward nail a 3 in your guard's face.
Beatty has it for the Pioneers. Guarded by Highbreeder. He gives it to Sexton. Sexton drives in, gives it out. Williams has it. He'll drive in, stops, turns around, puts up a hook shot over Moore, and that goes in there for Williams. They inbound to Highbreeder. Gets a pick from Washington. Highbreeder drives in, gives it to Bouch, left wing. Pass to the other side, open in the corner. It's Trippier. No good, and Williams brings down the board.
It's a rare sight. Trippier is usually knocked down from the three-point line.
Sexton has it for the Pioneers. Just under 4.5 minutes left. 9-5 right now. Pioneers have that 2-possession lead. They give it to the man on the wing. No good. It gets rebounded by Washington and hands it off to Bouch. Back to Washington. They give it to Trippier in the corner. He drives, stops, gives it to Highbreeder. He'll take a 3. No good. Rebounded by Williams.
Providence is playing excellent defense so far. I've been impressed.
Sexton has it. He'll drive. Puts up a runner over Highbreeder. No good. Ball bounces around, but Trippier comes up with the rebounds. Very interesting shot choice on that one.
Not often you see anyone take a shot over Highbreeder like that.
Moore has it for the Highlanders. He'll drive, gets out to Washington. Another three from Washington. No good. And he went for it. I'll give Washington credit for that one. Went up and under to get that. And they're actually going to call a foul, I think, on Sexton.
Yeah, he was draped all over that play. I will give credit to the Providence guy, though. He took a full shoulder of Caleb Washington going straight at him, and that is not a small human being, let me tell you what.
Trippier to inbound. Up 3:40 left in the first quarter. 9-5 still. Pioneers with the lead. Poach checks in. He gets to Washington. Turnaround free throw jumper. Air ball. Offensive rebound, Stella Husky. He loses the ball. Puts up a layup. Foul and one.
That's that size advantage of West Salahusky. He is at least 6 inches taller than anyone else on the Providence basketball team by the looks of it. They're going to look to take advantage of that size all night, and he does it well there.
You said it best. They need him right there. He got the board over like 3 or 4 Pioneers, and he converted on the N1. That's what he needs to do. Great position on Salahusky. Here's his free throw. That goes in for Salahusky. Now makes it 9-8. Highlanders only down by 1. Right now, Beatty has it, and a reaching call is going to be called on Highbreeder. They fouled there by Highbreeder. He had a knack for a bunch of reaching fouls last game against New Albany.
He's bringing up his defense on the court, too. They're starting to press him more.
Williams inbounds it to Sexton. Just about 3.5 minutes left in the first. Sexton has it. It's a handoff to Beatty. They give it to Wall, left wing, back to Beatty. They give it to Sexton. Sexton has it. Hand off to Beatty. Now guarded by Poach. They give it to Sexton, left wing. He drives, steps back. Inside pass there to Johnson. Working on Salahusky. Johnson tries to go for an up and under. Pulls up a small jumper. Back under, no good. Gets his own board and gets poked out of bounds. Looks like Poach tipped it out. It will stay with the Pioneers.
That's not a shot you're going to make if you're the Pioneers. I mean, you got someone that looks like he's maybe 6 feet tall going up against 6 foot 10, 11 West Salahusky.
Something like that. They quickly inbound to Williams. And, wow, foul. They're going to call foul before the shot, but Washington went up and over Williams. He bounces up there. That was a hard fall there.
They're beating up Washington tonight.
Yeah, he took a very tough on the other side, and then that. You land flat on your back, that'll knock the wind out of you. And just like that, it'll be a substitution change as Washington will check out.
Nathaniel Hoffman coming in. He's one of the players that I've liked watching on JV the past few years.
They inbound. They quickly inbound to Williams again. Gets a shot over Hoffman. No good. And foul on the shot. They'll go to the line. A little bit of a delayed call after the shot.
Hoffman got a finger on that. That could have been what the foul was.
Grant Williams go to the line. First free throw I think we're going to see from the Pioneers.
This is going to be a huge point for them, too. How are they going to look from the free throw line all night long? And I think the pressure might get to them. We'll see. It's a smaller student section tonight for Floyd Central, but this is going to be a huge point of emphasis for both teams all game long.
First free throw, no good by Williams. Washington checked out early. 2 hard falls, that'll take him out. He had a big 3 to start out the game. He definitely came out with firepower, but with the powers that be, sometimes you just got to sit down.
That's a huge pressure reliever for Jake Heiberger coming out. Look for him to start making something happen on the offensive end here.
Second free throw does go in for Williams. Makes it 10-8. Pioneers up by 2. About 2:45 left in the first. Boats has right now for the Highlanders. He drives, gets out to Highbreeder. Highbreeder loses the ball and it gets stolen. Sexton now on the move. He stops, pump fakes, and an easy pass there to Johnson.
It's like we said earlier, that's at Providence Pioneers. They watched film this week. They can tell the way you beat this Floyd Central defense is you have to outrun them, and they did it there.
He got 2 Highlanders in the air on the pump fake. Great pass there by Sexton. Trippier has for the Highlanders. They give it to Poats. Poats brings it out. They give it to Trippier. He'll take a 3 from the wing. That goes in for Trippier.
The Highlanders needed that 3 to go in desperately. Get any form of momentum shifting back their way.
Sexton has it now for the Pioneers. 12-11. Pioneers only up by 1. Just under 2 minutes left in the first. It's a handoff to Simmons. They give it to Sexton on the wing. He drives baseline. Tries to get it out on the floor. Say that wasn't a foul. That would have been a wide open shot for Johnson. Some dynamic duo offense we're seeing from Nick Sexton and Zach Johnson.
That's right, and they are both moving very, very fast. You saw Nathaniel Hoffman there struggling to keep up with them running through that defense, or that offense. Just very good play design by the Providence Pioneers here.
Washington checks back in for Hoffman. Pioneers ball, they'll inbound. Sexton inbound. They quickly inbound it to Beatty. They give it to Simmons. Simmons still has it. They give it to Sexton. Guarded by Potes now. Pass finds Simmons, right wing, guarded by Husky. He gets a pick. They switch on him. Trippier's guarding him. They kick it out to Sexton in the corner. Pulls up for three. Nick Sexton!
In the face of Kyle Potes.
Sexton's definitely been the player of the quarter. They go quick actually. They give it to Washington. Takes a shot over. An offensive foul on Washington going up for the shot. That'll be a turnover. It's going to go to the Pioneers.
They're going to call what? I mean, I hate to be that guy, but Washington didn't even touch his defender there. I'm sorry.
And looks like Wall will check back in. And looks like Moore will check in for the Highlanders. 113, 15-11, Pioneers up by 4. Highlanders will full court press them. Williams, he inbounds it to Simmons. Simmons has it guarded by Trippier. They give it to Sexton. About 1 minute remaining. Sexton has it. He loses the ball, almost stolen away by Potes. They give it to Simmons, right wing. He's guarded by Highbreeder. And they'll bring it out. Simmons and Sexton calling for something. And I don't know what they call on that. I think he may have called a violation.
It looked like he stepped out of bounds over there.
May have been that either way. That's a turnover. Highlanders only down by 4. It's been a bit of a rough quarter for them. See if they can try to close out with something big here. They inbound it to Potes. Potes has it, top of the key. Gives it to Moore. Moore right wing. He'll drive in. Gives it to Trippier in the corner. Pass to Potes. Highlanders holding it off. 30 seconds left in the quarter. Potes has it. He drives. Gives it to Trippier. Wing 3 from Trippier. No good. Moore comes up with the rebound. Gives it out to Potes. And Potes will bring out about 20 seconds remaining. Potes with it. Great offensive rebound by Moore.
That's right. He rose above the defense there using his size advantage. He looks quite a bit bigger than most of Providence starting 5.
10 seconds. They give it to Highbreeder. He steps back. Gives it inside to Moore. Moore, tough shot. No good. And Wall comes up with the rebound. They give it to Sexton. 1 second. Puts up a half quarter. It's Sexton. Last second attempt, no good. Final score after the first quarter, 15-11. Pioneers up by 4. And oh boy, did Sexton come out hot.
That's right. We'd like to give thanks to the following grant writers who made this production possible. Patty and Zach Howard with Schuler Bauer Real Estate, Branco School of Advertising and Design, Baptist Health Medical Group and Bariatric Surgery, and Nancy Castillo with Destinations to Travel. And Josh, I mean, Providence has come out hot this quarter. They played excellent defense. They've capitalized on all the mistakes that FC has made. What do you think they got to do to fix this?
I mean, stop Nick Sexton. He's had a great assist, hit a 3. He was definitely player of the quarter for me. He was so fast, great defense, and he was definitely the leader for the Pioneers team. And he seemed way more confident than anyone else did. Highbreeder, a bit, I don't want to say he was cold, but he was very, I'm going to say he didn't really try. I didn't see too much of him. He took 1 3 that didn't go in. Didn't see too much of him. It was mostly a couple of shots from Washington. Trippier hit a 3. Offensive rebound by Husky. I mean, that basically sums it up. This is still kind of seeing that slow-paced offense we saw last game.
That's right, and I mean, he made that opening layup, yes, but he's got to hold on to the ball better. He had a turnover, he had a few sloppy passes, and that's been the story of the night for the Highlanders so far. Is you got to hold on the ball and you have to limit those silly mistakes. You cannot let this Providence team take advantage of you like that.
So you're going to get back to the action here. Start the second quarter. Scores 15-11. Pioneers in the lead by 4. Johnson will inbound for the Pioneers. Very curious to see what Sexton can do in this quarter. Very, very effective in the first. See if he can close out the half with another strong performance. Getting back to the action right now. Pioneers to inbound. It'll be Johnson inbounding. They inbound it to Sexton. Sexton with it right now. They give it inside. It's Johnson. Turnaround layup. No good. And Moore rips down the rebound. He gives it to Highbreeder.
Better defense by the Highlanders there. Now they just have to get it on the perimeter down on the other end.
Highbreeder with it. Guarded by Simmons. They give it to Bouch. They give it to Washington. Working inside. Out to Trippier in the corner. They give it. Elbow shot from Washington. Front iron, no good. Williams brings it down.
There's another thing that I've seen Providence do very well is they're very good at boxing out people bigger than them.
So Simmons now has the right wing. He gives it to Williams. Williams with the guard by Trippier. He'll give it to Sexton. Sexton to Simmons. Off the pick, here's Williams. He drives, stops baseline, gives it to an open wall. He drives in, and they're going to call travel. Say Highbury kind of got scared. It almost looked like a reach in after the travel. It'll be Highlanders ball.
That's right. That was excellent defense by the Highlanders there. Again, they just have to keep that up. Keep exposing those mistakes and take advantage of them on the other end.
About 7 minutes remaining in the second. 15-11. Pioneers still up by 4. Trippier has it for the Highlanders. He gets a pick from Moore. They give it to Washington, who loses it. Sexton has on the other end. Puts up a layup, and that goes in for Nick Sexton, adding on to a great performance so far.
It's those sloppy passes again. Caleb Washington didn't look like he was expecting the ball there, and that's something that simply has to be fixed.
They're doing a great job clogging passing lanes. Trippier has it right now for the Highlanders. They got to get a bucket here. They give it to Bouch. Bouch gives it to Trippier, then to Moore. Pass to Bouch, then to Highbreeder in the corner. Inside pass to Washington. Turnaround layup for Washington goes in.
Excellent use of his size there against a smaller man down in the post. The Highlanders have to take more advantage of that down low.
That's what Highbreeder needs to do. He needs to bring the man up, and hopefully he can get another play like that with Washington. Simmons has it for the Pioneers. He gives it to Williams. Williams guarded by Highbreeder. Stops, gives it to Sexton. They give it to Johnson, right wing. Inside pass, it's Wall. Pump fakes, it's Highbreeder in the air. Layup, no good. Put back himself, it's Wall.
They're going to have to get those defensive rebounds if you're the Highlanders.
They give it to Bouch. Then to Trippier. Trippier to Highbreeder. Highbreeder brings it out. They give it to Bouch, left wing. Then to Trippier in the corner. He'll take a three. Max Trippier, no good. Washington travels going for the rebounds. Another turnover. You said it better. They need to get those defensive rebounds. Too many offensive looks.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, driving in there, the Providence player hit a brick wall in Jake Highbreeder. And Highbreeder could have easily gotten that rebound, but that was an easy putback layup for the Pioneers there, and the Highlanders have to stop that from happening.
Simmons has it right now for the Pioneers. And he'll travel. Great double team there by the Highlanders. Force a turnover.
It's a mistake-ridden game for both teams, and both teams are going to have to expose those and make sure they capitalize on the other end.
Trippier to inbound. They need a score, and they get some momentum here. They inbound it to Highbreeder. Highbreeder to Bouch, left wing. That's the other side. Trippier has it. Inside pass there to Moore. Puts up a layup. Bank shot no good. Washington rips down the board. Puts up his own shot. All around the rim, but that goes in for Caleb Washington.
He's making sure his presence is felt down low, and he's doing a good job of it too.
And they needed it. Going around here. Huber has it. And a foul there going up for the shot, Washington.
There's not really much he could do there. I mean, Washington's so much bigger. All he has to do is run into him, put up a shot, and that's a free foul.
It looks like it will be Huber at the line. Not too many free throws this game, and I'm talking on both sides. First free throw does go in for Huber, makes it now 20-5, increases the Pioneer lead to 5.
That's right. Most of these turnovers haven't been fouls. They've been faulty passes on both ends, or just silly mistakes like travels or backcourts or anything like that.
We're not even halfway into the quarter, and the Highlanders already have 6 fouls. Second free throw miss. It's an offensive rebound. Pioneers will stay with it. Beatty has it. He gives it to Carver. Carver has it. He gives it to Huber. Huber still with it. Guarded by Trippier. Inside pass now to Wall. Hand off to Huber. Puts up a shot over Washington. No good. Offensive rebound. Gets blocked by Washington. Brings down the board. Pass there saved by Moore. He'll drive in. Stop baseline, give it to Washington. Mid-range shot, Washington, no good. And going for the rebounds. Trippier dives on it.
It's going to be a jump ball.
Jump ball is going to be called there. They wanted to travel so bad on the Pioneers side when Brady stopped baseline.
That's right, and I didn't see it personally, but I mean, Brady Moore did an excellent job of saving the ball there, and then he did an excellent job of slowing it down, trying to make sure the Highlanders stayed with possession, and it looks like they will here. They're just going to have to make sure something happens on this offensive possession here.
So refs now discussing something. I don't know. It will be Highlanders on ball. We got 4:48 left in the second quarter. 20-15. Pioneers with that 5-point lead. I'm very curious what the refs are actually discussing. Either way, it looks like we're going to get back to the action. Substitution, though, for the Pioneers as Johnson's getting ready to check in. More words with the Pioneers coach. Now they're going over to talk with Todd Sturgeon. What is it with, I don't know how it's been. I think it's more substitution errors, but either way, Johnson will check in for Wall.
One thing to note here, this Providence coach has been fired up all game long. He's been right there on the court with him.
Inbound to Washington. He gets it to Highbreeder. Almost loses it. Deep three from Highbreeder. Going up for the rebound. Looks like it will be out on Trippier. What kind of shot was that from Highbreeder?
They're going to have to look for better shot selection. I mean, simply put, there was no need to take that shot. I mean, you're down 5. There's 4:32 left in the second half, or in the second quarter, excuse me. You have to look for your open man and try to make something happen there.
And on that, I do not agree with the shot selection. Again, Highbury cannot be doing this stuff again. It'll be Pioneers ball. Now they're talking over to the box here. A lot of discussion and delays in game here. I don't know what the refs are talking about.
It seems either they're making a lot of mistakes or they're just not catching a lot of things here. So we'll see what they say.
It's definitely one of the more frustrating things about the game. Finally back in action. Pioneers inbound. They inbound to Beatty. Beatty drives. Handoff there to Carver. Back to Beatty. Beatty gives it to Johnson. Johnson right wing. Looking for the inside pass. He'll drive and take it himself. Pass out. Mid-range shot, no good. And Floyd gets brought down there by Moore. Highbeer has it. Gives it to Bouch. Bouch has it left wing. Guarded by Beatty. Out to Potes. Potes still with it. He'll drive inside. Give it out to Moore. Open mid-range shot by Moore. Goes in.
Excellent vision there by Kyle Post to see Brady Moore open in the mid-range there. And Brady Moore is an excellent shooter from that range, too.
20-17 now. Pioneers lead. It's now been cut down to 3. Carver has it. About 3.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Pass to Johnson. He'll drive in. Look for the inside. And a shot there. And number 11, Alec Kukaro. Highbeater now has it. They give it to Potes in the corner. He'll bring it out. Pass to Moore. Moore brings it out. He's now guarded. They give it to Fisher and a reaching call there. Highlanders will inbound. So offense has been better, but they need to capitalize on that defense there. They're allowing way too many open looks inside.
That's right. I mean, they've been getting lucky the past few times with a few missed layups. And something else to note, you got Brady Moore playing the 5 a lot more than I thought you would have seen. I mean, you got a bigger player in Wesley Salahusky down there. I'd like to see Brady Moore play the 4 a little bit more.
Trippier will check in for Huber. They inbound it to Poach. 3 minutes left in the second quarter. 22-17. Pioneers up by 5. And now Trippier has it for the Highlanders. Pass to Poach. Poach drives baseline, gives it to Fisher. Out to an open Trippier for 3. That goes in for Trippier.
Absolutely huge shot by Max Trippier. The Highlanders needed that ball to go in to keep this game close.
Sexton now has it for the Pioneers. And Not sure what the call is on. They may have called it. Yeah, it was foul on Potes. And that will put Sexton on line. And Sexton's had his fair amount of points tonight.
Providence into the bonus now. It's early for that.
Yeah, the Highlanders had so many very dumb fouls in the beginning. In the 1-on-1, Sexton converts on his first free throw.
That's just the product of the Highlanders making avoidable mistakes. They cannot allow that to keep happening.
So Beatty will check in for Carver now. So Sexton so far has been the player so far. Second free throw by Sexton. Back iron no good as Highbreeder gets the board. Highbreeder moving with it. He gives it to Poach in the corner. Poach will drive baseline. Gives out to Trippier in the corner. Another three by Trippier. Got it!
Excellent vision by the Highlanders there. They're moving the ball well, and Max Trippier is on fire right now. You cannot stop him from the three-point line, and if you're Providence, you're going to have to play better perimeter defense.
That ties the game, 23 apiece. About 2:12 left in the game. Pass by Sexton on the inside. Johnson, no good. Ball finds Sexton's out. Highlanders are blowing it on the defensive stat tonight. Ball bounces around, and Highbreeder comes up with a steal. They drive. Trippier has it. He drives in. Gets fouled going up for the shot for what could be the first lead in about 13 minutes for the Highlanders.
These free throws are huge, and it's a huge momentum shift. These Providence Pioneers are starting to make mistakes, and the Highlanders are starting to see them. They're taking good advantage of it, and I mean, Jake Highbreeder played good defense there. Kyle Potes is all up in Sexton's face on the half-court line. They're playing good defense, and they need to keep it up.
Trippier does miss the first free throw. This is the chance you need. You need to get your team up here. Trippier so far has been electric this past minute. But my big question here is where has been Highbreeder? Second free throw, that goes in. Highlanders first lead of the second quarter coming late. 24-23, Highlanders up by 1. Just under 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Ball finds Huber. They give it to Williams, then to Beatty. Beatty to Sexton, left wing guard by Potes. Drives in, stops, puts up a floater, no good. Highbreeder rips down the board. Highbreeder has it, drives in. Yeah, charge is going to be called on Highbreeder.
They're focusing on Highbreeder. They're putting all their defensive attention on him, as they should. He's an absolutely electric offensive weapon, and it is working for them. However, the Highlanders have shown they can score with other players. I think Todd Sturgeon's going to have to take advantage of that with his lineups.
Yeah, and with that, Highbreeder will sit down and Bounce will come in, and it looks like Wall will check in for the Pioneers. He will check in for Williams.
This is the first time I've seen the Highlanders put in a lineup without Highbreeder in a long time.
It might be needed. We'll see how it plays out. They inbound to Sexton. 1.5 minutes left in the second quarter. And a very quick turnover on that one. It'll go to the Highlanders.
The Highlanders are playing a mind game now. They're in the Providence Pioneers' head.
And after a maybe 4-second rest, Highbreeder will check back into the game for Potes. Bouch to inbound. Inbounds it to Highbreeder. Highbreeder has it now. They give it to Trippier. Trippier drives. Open, fouled, and that goes in. He almost slammed that.
Trippier is on fire this quarter. He's been playing electric. Knocked down from 3, driving in. These are free throws that he's going to have to make, though.
Say Trippier, oh my gosh. When Highbreeder has been playing down, he's been the player to step up.
And this is what the Highlanders need. They need their younger players to step up when Highbreeder isn't playing as well.
Free throw does go in for Trippier. Makes it 27-23 now. Highlanders in the lead. Beatty has it right now for the Pioneers. Gives to Sexton. Ball finds Huber. They give it to Beatty. 1 minute left in the second quarter.
Providence may hold.
Who knows here? Sexton has it. They give it to Beatty. 50 seconds. Beatty with it. They give it to Huber.
They're holding for the last shot is what they're going to try and do.
They give it to Sexton. Sexton gives it to Beatty.
There's rotating the same players to the same spot on the court.
Yep, they give it to Huber. Huber to Sexton. You might be right on this one. They've now wasted the past 35 seconds. Sexton still holding it, guarded by Poach. 20 seconds. They give it to Beatty. And timeout is going to be taken on that one. Score 27-23. Highlanders with their first 2-possession lead of the night. Max Trippier, when they needed him, he showed up.
He has stepped up excellently. I believe he's made 3 threes so far, and that driving layup that we just saw. Now the only thing is he's going to have to capitalize on all his free throw opportunities though, because the Providence Pioneers have shown that they're keen to foul in the paint, and that's something that the Highlanders are going to have to take advantage of.
So we have a lot to talk about, a lot of interesting things so far this first half. We'll get into that when it comes to halftime, but right now I'm curious to see what the Pioneers are going to draw up. They wasted about 45 seconds of clock just passing it around, keeping it.
They did what I like to call pulling a Jeff.
Teams have been known. There is no shot clock, so teams have been known towards the end of the quarter to hold it for a minute. Johnson will inbound for the Pioneers. 15.2 on the clock. I think they're going to give it to Sexton for the shot. They get inbounded to Sexton.
That's a smart play here. He's been electric all game long.
Sexton has it. 7 seconds. 5 seconds. Here's the ball. Johnson puts up a last-ditch effort. Offensive rebound. He puts up a layup. Oh, and not the buzzer. That's Wall. That makes it 27-25 to close out the first half. Highlanders only up by 2 in a very close and exciting second quarter.
Very tightly contested game here so far, Josh. I mean, Providence has come out. They've shown that they are tough. They've shown that they can hang in there with the Highlanders. This is something that this is a team that the Highlanders cannot overlook. We'd like to give thanks to the following grant writers who made this production possible: Glacier HVAC, Rooted CBD Oil, Kentuckiana Morgan Troop, and Bubba's 33. Thank you guys for making this production possible.
And right now we're going to throw it over to Sam real quick to recap some of those first half stats.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said earlier, the defense from Providence is mainly focused on stopping Jake Hybreeder, and that's leading some other players to make some really significant contributions. Most importantly, Max Trippier is far and away the leader in scoring in this game. He's got 13 points of the Highlanders 27, shooting 3 of 6 from 3, 50%, 4 of 7 overall field goals, 2 of 3 from the line. He's definitely he is the Highlanders offense. Another significant player, Caleb Washington, he's got 7 points and 2 offensive boards, which I think is really important for the Highlanders. On the Providence side of things, Nick Sexton, definitely a more balanced approach offensively from Providence. Nick Sexton leading them in points, as well as David Wall. And going back to Floyd, the Floyd side, Jake Hybreeder, as I said, they're focusing on him a lot defensively, and he's making some contributions, but definitely not up to the standard that most people will be used to from him in a game. He's got 2 points, 2 turnovers, and he's 0 of 2 from 3. Definitely not the kind of performance that people would expect from Jake Hybreeder, going into a game like this.
That is it's so strange. I wanted so hard to believe that he could come out and play, and Trippier definitely stood up into that role, hit some very clutch threes, effective from the line. There's 2 players that are bothering me about that first half. One is Hybreeder, obviously. He wasn't as effective. He keeps playing, and he hasn't been as effective. And the next player, I hate to call out players like this. I truly do, but it was an exact same problem for New Albany. What has Will Bouch done, to be honest? He hasn't even taken a shot attempt. He is so scared to shoot the ball. Literally in New Albany, they gave him space to shoot, and he didn't take it. He's so scared to shoot the ball. And part of me wants to be like, if he doesn't play offensively, but he plays good defense, cool, leave him in. But guess what? Miller ate his lunch in New Albany, and Sexton is doing that tonight. At that point, he needs to come. If he can't get it going, keep him out of the game. He has so far done nothing, and there's so many players. I'm thinking of Nathaniel Hoffman that could be in the game and actually making a factor.
That's right, and I mean, you could be looking at some of your younger players to get more experience. I mean, Will Fisher has gotten extended minutes tonight, which is huge. He's played really well. But yeah, you're right. Bouch is going to have to step it up on the defensive end, and if you're Jake Highbreeder, you're playing well. You're spreading the ball around like we said he would have to improve on. Again, though, that doesn't mean you have to go out of your way to limit your offensive production. Providence has keyed in on him, and he's played well given the opportunities he's had. And I'm not saying force the ball or force it if you're Jake Highbreeder, but you got to look for those open opportunities to score if you can.
This is where I'm at. Going into the game, I was optimistic. I want Highbreeder to come in and do a great job, and part of me wants to be optimistic and say he'll turn it around. If he does not make any contribution in the third quarter, doesn't make a shot, he had a terrible sloppy passes that got stolen away and were converted to fast break points for the Pioneers. If that happens the third quarter, you better not start him in that fourth quarter. There's so much, they keep betting that he will play his way out of it, and it did not work in New Albany. And guess what happened? They lost. And if they repeat that tonight, then that is a huge flaw in Sturgeon's plan, and that needs to change. They're going to need to play Washington more and Trippier more. They have been willing to take shots and actually attack the basket. Washington had some great mid-range shots, and he scored on the inside. Moore, very effective all around, hustles, gets down boards. Trippier, for some reason, he's electric tonight. Absolutely go to him. Highbreeder, absolutely not. He has done a better job of passing to his players. I will give credit where credit is due. But if he turns into a terrible playmaker, yikes. Then he becomes more of an anchor than anything.
Right, and I mean, the fact that the Highlanders are up right now with Highbreeder putting up the performance that he's put up says a lot about other players stepping up. I mean, Max Trippier has almost half of this team's points so far. Caleb Washington putting up a good stat line. I mean, look for those two players in particular to keep going. I mean, like you said at the beginning of the game, Jake Highbreeder is a two-half player.
Yeah.
Look for him to improve in the second half and potentially even go off. If Providence adjusts their game plan to key in on Washington and Trippier, Highbreeder's going to be left wide open, and you cannot give him those opportunities. We've seen him against teams, some of the best teams in Indiana, like Silver Creek, absolutely go off for 40-plus points.
Yeah.
You cannot give him those opportunities, and you're going to have to let him make those plays if they're there.
A big thing I want to know, where was Sella Husky that second quarter? I mean, truly.
That's a good question. I mean, he played really well in the limited minutes he's gotten. I mean, what did he play? Like one or two possessions, and he's got 3 points right off the bat.
Absolutely.
He is so much bigger than anyone else on this Providence team. That's just something that they're going to have to take advantage of. And I mean, there's no way they can't. If Sturgeon doesn't play him or play his 7-foot-tall center against guys that are no bigger than 6'4", that's just a massive flaw in his game plan.
If I'm Coach Sturgeon, here's who you start the second half with. You start with Washington. You start with Moore. You start with Trippier. I would put in Sella Husky to be more of a factor and have an explosive start. And then if he wants, I would even put in Potes, for an example. He's been pretty fast overall. And he's not a shooter, but he can pass. He creates stuff for players. That's who, personally, if I was Coach Sturgeon, that's who I would start the game out with. I feel like those are the players that can be really effective, get you off to a hot start. And once you maybe build up a lead, go on, let's say, a 6-0 run to start out, put in Highbreeder, see if he can ride some of that off and bring some spark even more. It's just too risky to start out a quarter when you're only up by 2 with someone that's playing as risky as Highbreeder.
Right, and I mean, going back to Kyle Potes here, he's played well defensively, and we say he's not a shooter, but he hit that buzzer beater 3 at New Albany last week. I think if given the space, he's a good shooter, and I think he's seen the floor really well so far as a passer tonight. So look for him to continually improve throughout the game tonight, and potentially even start come fourth quarter. In fact, I'd put him in over Bouch if I was Coach Sturgeon.
I would sub in at this point anyone over Bouch, if I'm being fully honest with you. I'm telling you, there's just too many risk factors with some of their players, and for some reason Sturgeon keeps playing that risk, and I don't understand it.
It could be the fact that Bouch is a senior, and it could be the fact that Bouch, if given the opportunity and if matched up with the right player, is an excellent defensive matchup. Now, one thing he's going to have to improve upon, he's going to have to be a lot quicker because this Providence team is playing fast and they are playing hard, and Vouch has to adjust to that. The whole team does. I mean, we saw the run that Providence went on to start the game. That was simply unacceptable on the defensive end by the Highlanders, and a lot of offensive mistakes too. We'd like to give thanks to the following grant writers for making this production possible. Neighborhood Food Mart, Rudder Electric, Permanent Makeup by Jesse at About Face Spa and Salon, and Republic Bank. Thank you guys for making this production possible. We wouldn't be here without you.
I want to talk about Nick Sexton for the remainder here. Definitely the star player for the Pioneers so far. He was fast. He's got a handle on him. He can drive. He hit a 3 from the corner. He has been the leader for this team and has been efficient. It is so amazing to see a player come out and start that quick. The only reason they are not up now is because Trippier decided to kick it into overdrive. But Sexton has been the guy, and he has been the leader and playmaker. He had a couple fancy passes to Johnson. He is definitely going to be a player that the Highlanders need to watch out for.
Right, he's been playing out of his mind all night tonight. I mean, there's not much they've really been able to do to stop him. He had a quiet second quarter, but look for him to turn things up in the second half. And in order to match that, if you're Coach Sturgeon, you find who was guarding him in the second quarter and try and limit the opportunities he's given. Make sure he's not open on the line. Make sure when he has the ball and he can't shoot with it, make him pass the ball. And that's something that the Highlanders are going to have to focus on with every Providence player here in the second half.
So about 25 seconds away from the second half. Scores 27-25. Highlanders only up by 2. I did talk about earlier, I wanted a very close game, and I was not disappointed in that factor. Talked about what needs to change. Talk about who's more efficient on both sides. It's just a matter of who's going to play, who's going to turn around, and who's going to stay efficient.
That's right, and we'll see who Coach Sturgeon decides to go with here to start the second half. But he's going to have to take advantage of the size advantage that his team presents over Providence. I mean, Providence plays small ball really, really, really well. But, I mean, there's nothing you can do when you have someone that's 6'4" guarding someone that's 7 feet tall. I mean, there's simply not much you can do in the paint like that.
And to start out, they're going to have Washington, Moore, and Trippier, and then Bouch and Highbreeder. Very interesting lineup change. Let's see how this plays out.
I will say this. I'm impressed with Brady Moore playing the 5 so far tonight. He's played it really well. He's defended really well, and he's even made a few open shots from mid-range. He's seen the court well. I'd look for him to improve tonight, though. And
for the Pioneers, we're going to have Johnson, Huber, Sexton, Beatty, and Wall. It'll be their possession. Getting ready to start third quarter. 27-25. Highlanders up by 2. Pioneers inbound back in action. Sexton has it. He hands it off there to Beatty. Beatty gives it to Sexton. Sexton to Johnson. Johnson drives, gives it to Wall. Handoff. Shot from Johnson. No good. Going for the rebound. And they're going to save it out of bounds. Ball finds Beatty in the corner. They give it out to Sexton. Great save there by Huber and Wall. Hand off there to Huber. Pass to Johnson, right wing. Guarded by Washington. Drives. Loses it out of bounds. Very sloppy turnover. It's going to go to the Highlanders.
Mind games being played by the Highlanders. They're in the Pioneers player's head, and you can see it right now.
Bouch has it right now. They give it to Trippier. Trippier to Washington. Pass to Highbreeder. Highbreeder puts up a shot. Foul and one. Highbreeder.
Those are those shots we're used to Jake Highbreeder taking and making. That's something he's going to have to continue to do all game long, but also see the court well.
Let's see how his free throws add up here. It's a very important factor. Wasn't too impressed with his free throws last outing. So you can boost the percentage here. Going for the N1, Highbreeder. That goes in. Now makes it 30-25. Highlanders up by 5. Pioneers inbound it to Sexton. Sexton almost loses it to Bouch. They get to the other side of Huber. Pass to Beatty. Beatty with it. They give it to Sexton. They give it to Huber. Huber to Johnson in the corner, inside a Wall. Pump fakes, turn around, hook shot over Washington. No good. Moore brings down the board, and they give it to Highbreeder.
Excellent defense by the Highlanders there, forcing them to take a low percentage shot.
Bouch now has it in the corner. Then the Highbreeder. Highbreeder drives in. Tough shot, foul, and one! Back to back.
Jake Highbreeder being Jake Highbreeder. I mean, there's that second half player that we're all used to seeing. If he can keep this up, this Highlanders offense could be electric if Max Trippier is still on too.
I am a big fan of having players make me eat my own words, and Highbreeder just might as well. We talked about him being a half player. This just might be his time. Back to back and one. See if he can go on the free throw. If so, that's 6 quick points for Highbreeder. The and one free throw from Highbreeder. It's up. And that goes in. Makes it 33-25. Highlanders up now by 8. They quickly inbound it to Sexton. Sexton gives it to Simmons. Simmons working on Highbreeder. They give it to Sexton. Sexton has it. Pass to Johnson. Johnson working on Bouch. Gets an open lane in the paint. I was dumbfounded that they just left the paint wide open.
It's got to be a defensive lapse by the Highlanders, a miscommunication of some sort.
Highbreeder has it. They give it to Bouch. They give it to Trippier. Trippier to Moore. Moore has it left wing, guarded by Sexton. Looks for the inside pass. Gets it there to Washington. Turnaround Jay from Washington. No good. Highbreeder gets the board. Highbreeder now working on Simmons. Stops. Pulls up in the mid-range. No good. Johnson gets the board.
If I'm being completely honest, I'm surprised Moore didn't drive in on Sexton there. Moore looks like he's a good bit bigger than Sexton, and that could have been a good size advantage there.
Say, looks like Trippier committed the foul there on Johnson as he got the board. Stay with the Pioneers. 5:32 left in the third quarter. 33-27. Highlanders up by 3. On the Pioneers inbound, Sexton has it. Guarded by Bouch. They give it to Johnson. It gets poked out by Johnson, or Washington rather. Heber has it, drives, puts up a tough shot over Washington. No good. And they come up with it. Highbreeder has it now. In transition, drives. He stops, gives it to Moore. Corner 3 from Brady Moore. Goes in!
There's those other players on the Highlanders team stepping up. I mean, that's one thing that the Highlanders have always excelled at is those three-point shots.
Pioneers going cold here. Might look for Sexton, see if he can draw anything. Sexton with the inside pass to Johnson. Johnson, turnaround Jay, and he'll travel before the shots. Highbreeder went for the steal, caused the travel.
Excellent defense here by the Highlanders. So the Providence Pioneers are taking things too fast here. If they want to get anything going, they're going to have to slow it down.
This is a completely different Highlanders team. This is a completely different story from the first half. Highbreeder gives it to Trippier, then to Moore in the corner. Stops on the wing, gives it to Trippier, then to Bouch. Bouch to Highbreeder. He's guarded by Simmons. Then to Washington. Top of the key 3 from Washington. Goes in! Back-to-back threes for the Highlanders.
There's Caleb Washington taking advantage of that space. You cannot give him space on the perimeter if you're the Providence Pioneers.
He was smiling walking away from the 3. They're now up by 12. Sexton with it. Pioneers got to get something going. Wall now has it. They give it to Simmons. Simmons. Ball finds Sexton. Bring it out. Pioneers don't know what to do now. Simmons will drive it on Highbreeder. And a charge! Highbreeder putting his body on the line.
Excellent job to draw that foul there. The Highlanders were in foul trouble in the first half. It's time to get back at them.
Highbreeder is a different player now. This was such a huge shift. He had a very inconsistent first half, but he's come alive.
I mean, credit to Coach Sturgeon where credit is due. He changed the scheme well. They've made defensive adjustments, and they've played well on offense. They're taking the open shots. They're not leaving anything out there. They're doing an excellent job of, seizing those opportunities like I talked about and making sure they don't go unnoticed.
So with that, timeout's going to be taken by the Pioneers. They need to have someone take those shots and see if they can get any momentum going.
We'd like to thank the following grant writers for making this production possible. Personal Travel, United Dynamics, James Bourne Gallery, and Hydro Warehouse and Transportation. And it's like you said, Josh, It's going to come down to, can the Pioneers find any open shots against this adjusted Highlanders defense? And you're going to look for players like Nick Sexton to slow things down, look for the open shot, and take those opportunities. Although credit to the Highlanders, they've not given them any opportunities. There's nothing they can do there.
Right now it's 39-27. Highlanders up by 12. 3:49 left in the third quarter. So let me get this straight. Here is what is going to be the game plan for the Highlanders. They need to keep this up. You had 2 quick and 1 from Hybrid, or 3 from Washington, and a 3 from Moore. This has been a great start, and I'm telling you, they need to keep it up. They can ride this out for the rest of the quarter, then a fourth quarter comeback may be tough.
That's right, and if they can keep the pressure going on this Providence team, look for them to potentially, I could see a 20-point win in the future. However, you cannot count out this Providence team. As they show in the second half, and as they show in the first half, they played really well. They're fast, they're tough, and they can make stuff happen.
Washington has it on the elbow. He gives it to Bouch. They give it to Trippier, then to Washington in the corner. They give it to Moore. He loses the ball. Still scrambling for it. And the Pioneers, ball goes out of bounds, and they're going to say it's stuck with the Pioneers. But to me, I thought Alec just threw it out.
It may have bounced off of someone's shoe there.
They inbound to Simmons. Simmons has it right now. They give it to Sexton. Gets a pick from Williams. Sexton drives, pulls it from the mid-range, over Moore, no good. And Hybrider gets down the board and gets it immediately stolen by Alec. They give it to Simmons on the wing. They give it now to Sexton. Pioneers need a basket. Passing around, there's Williams. Simmons now has it, guarded by Bouch. Ball in the corner now. Huber for 3. All around, no good. Trippier gets the board and passes out to Hybrider. Quick crossover. Hybrider drives in, puts up a layup. That goes in, foul, and they're going to call a charge, actually. And wow.
Both teams they're playing good defense right now. They're exposing mistakes, however, it's just not translating on the other end. Providence played well. They got the open shot down low, and then they drew the charge on the other end. The Highlanders are going to have to limit those mistakes and make sure they convert on Providence's mistakes on the other end.
Coach will check in for Hybrider. Pioneers, they are stone cold. They've only made, I think, 2 points this quarter. They need something going. Williams to inbound. About 2.5 minutes left. Score still 39-27. Highlanders up. Sexton drives. Puts up a shot. Air ball, no good. He was frustrated with that one. Moore comes up with the rebound. And timeout, I think they're going to call on the floor.
Who are they going to call that timeout for? Providence can't call a timeout if Floyd Central has the ball.
No, I think it's an injury timeout. Sexton hit the floor over there.
Ooh, you never want to see that, especially for a star player like Sexton. He's played really well tonight.
So that'll be a huge loss for him. Score right now 39-27. Highlanders still up by 12. 2:15 left in the third quarter. Johnson will quickly substitute for Sexton. That's a huge loss for the Pioneers. Expect the Highlanders to go out on a run. See if they can close this quarter out strong and can try to make a near impossible lead going into the fourth.
Right, and if you're the Providence Pioneers here, and if you're going to try and run an offense without Nick Sexton here, you're going to have to slow things down and you're going to have to look for the open shot. Floyd Central has left a lot of those for Providence open. They're going to have to take advantage of it.
Moore will inbound. They inbound to Potes. Potes gets it across. Drives in, gives it to an open Washington. Layup easy for Washington.
Excellent floor vision by Potes there. He's shown that all night tonight, and Washington does an excellent job of getting himself open down low.
Simmons now has for the Pioneers. He gives it to Huber. Huber drives, puts up a tough shot that goes in. Fancy on that one. Potes now has it. Coach guarded by Simmons.
Pioneers pressing up on defense down the court more now.
Coach still with it. He drives, gives out to Bouch. Bouch to Washington. Washington to Moore. Moore to Potes. Highlanders still holding on to it. Trying to get around this perimeter defense. Potes drives in. Handoff stolen by Williams. Stops and gives it to Simmons.
That's something this Providence team has done well all night long, is they played excellent defense.
Layup by Simmons goes in now. Cuts the lead down to 10. Potes now has it. Potes gets it across. Stops on the elbow. Brings it out to Moore. Then to Trippier. Trippier drives baseline. Puts up a floater. No good. Offensive rebound by Washington. The putback is good.
There's that size advantage we've been talking about. Washington is bigger than anyone else on the court right now, and he knows it.
They quickly inbound as William has it on the other side of the court. They give it to Carver. Going around. 3 in the corner by Huber. No good. And it looks like Trippier gets the board, and he gives it to Potes.
Something else to note here. This might be the longest absence of Jake Hybreeder on the court like I've seen ever.
Not beyond foul trouble. He left after he picked up a charge. Foul on the floor, I think. And yeah, Huber with the foul there. And as you say, that Hybreeder will check in for Bouch.
Credit to the Highlanders. They played well without him. So I can only imagine what their offense will look like with him on the floor now.
15 seconds. Highlanders ball. Potes has it. See if they can close out this quarter strong. 10 seconds. Potes drives. Gives out to an open Moore. Top of the key 3. Brady Moore gets it. And that will close out this phenomenal quarter by the Highlanders. Wow. Hybreeder, Washington, Moore at the end. This was a completely different Highlanders team. Oh my gosh. They came out swinging.
The story of the second half, Jake Hybreeder turned his game up a little bit. Kyle Potes with that excellent floor vision. Those threes, they've been unstoppable from beyond the arc, and that's going to have to continue if they want to keep this pressure on in the fourth quarter.
So I was talking about the state of Hybreeder. That added up to a game and a half streak of being cold. Well, guess what? He probably just snapped on that quarter. It's 46-31. Highlanders going to go into the fourth with a 15-point lead, and with Sexton for the Pioneers taking a hard fall. Very cool. I don't know if he'll check back into the game. This is looking really good for the Highlanders. They have a decent lead. Star player for the Pioneers did have to sit due to injury. This is going to be a great start. If Highbury can keep up the momentum, then they're basically just going to run this game out. That's all they really need to do. And as for the Pioneers, they didn't know what they were doing, to be honest. Whenever they kicked it into overdrive in the tough defense, they just froze. They had no idea what the game plan was, and it cost them. They, at one point, I think, had an 8-point lead towards the first half, and that's now dribbled to a 15-point deficit.
To their credit, though, they've played well without their star player on the court. He came off the floor, and they immediately came down and scored 4 points right off the bat like that. And their defense has continued to improve throughout the game as well. They just have to continue defending that perimeter, and they cannot let FC get those open three-point shots because they will hurt you with those.
Say Trippier to inbound. Highlanders now starting off with the ball. This just bodes well for them. They inbound it. Moore has it. They give it to Trippier. Then to Potes. Potes right, gives it to Moore. 3 from Moore. That looks good. No good. Foul on the floor, and I think they're going to call it on Hybreeder. Yeah, they're going to call that on Hybreeder going up for the board. And they give it to Williams. Hybreeder laughing after the call. They gave it to Huber now. Huber has it.
Providence speeding their game back up.
A little bit too fast, and a travel is committed there by Beatty. It's a turnover. That's not what you want to start out this quarter, is a quick turnover.
That's right. They're going to have to take advantage of any mistakes the Highlanders give them, because right now the Highlanders are playing good, crisp basketball.
Trippier inbounds it. He inbounds it to Highbreeder. Highbreeder guarded by Huber. Hand off to Potes. Potes drives, gives it out to Moore. Moore to Trippier. Gets a man in the air on the pump fake. Kicks out to Potes. On the wing. Potes for three! Kyle Potes.
There's that. He's an underrated three-point shooter, I think, and he's going to have to keep that up.
This Highlanders team this half has kicked into overdrive. Right now for the Pioneers, Johnson has it. It's a handoff to Huber. Huber gives to Johnson. He drives in, stops, and got fouled going forward. That's on Highbreeder, and it is. He has to be in foul trouble now. He's going to go to the bench now as bounce substitutes.
That's something that the Pioneers had to be watching throughout the game, and he's been in foul trouble all game long.
49-31 right now. Highlanders is now up by 18. Huber quickly inbounds it. Shot missed. Ball bounces around. It goes off Trippier. And that was one of the more confusing rebounds they've seen. That went over Trippier's head. And that will stay with the Pioneers.
Something else interesting to note, Wes Salahusky is back in the game for the Highlanders. Look for him to make something happen either on the boards or down low.
Say, Sturgeon exchanging words with the ref. Beatty, they inbound it. Inbound to Johnson. He'll take a three himself. Front iron, no good. Huber gets the offensive board. They kick it out to Williams now. To an open Beatty on the wing. Shot no good, and Potes gets the board. He'll bring it up himself.
Potes has been running this offense really well all game long. I've been impressed.
Pick from Moore right there. Potes drives in. Gets denied there by Williams. Jump ball is going to be called. And Potes has got that swatted right back.
Potes runs the offense well, but you can't help his size. I mean, the man has a size disadvantage going down low.
We got 6:20 left in the game. 49-31. Highlanders up by 18. As Washington will check into the game. Looks like a little bit of a wet spot. They're going to clean up right now.
We'd like to thank the following grant writers for making this production possible. Right Choice Home Inspection, Julie Gamble Group, Matt Lincoln with Schuler Bauer Real Estate, and Mr. Gaddy's Pizza. Thank you guys for helping us with this production. We wouldn't be here without you.
So they're still handling what's on the court right now. The Highlanders, they're just as efficient as ever. I mean, Highbreeder does have his bit of foul trouble, which does not bode well, but they have an 18-point lead so far, and they're looking strong so far to hold on to it. This is probably the biggest shift change I've ever seen between halves. You had a team that was dysfunctional and didn't really have a plan to just come out and have explosive performances by Washington, Moore, and Highbreeder. Sexton back into the game, came out towards the end of the third quarter as he fell into the bench. They pass it to Johnson. Turnaround Jay from Johnson, no good. Ball bounces around, goes out of bounds. They're going to say it's off the Pioneers. He'll go to the Highlanders. And Highbreeder's going to check back into the game for Potes. They might see if they can draw anything off Highbreeder to get him out of the game.
He has to be close to fouling out.
Has to be. Washington inbound. 6:05 left in the game. I think we got another wet spot, actually. Stoppage in game right there. Refs is going to call it off anyway.
Double team on Highbreeder.
They inbound to Trippier, then to Washington. And they pick his pocket. Fast break scored by Sexton. And Johnson hit the ground. I think he may have he hit his mouth. He may have knocked out a tooth. And they're going to stop the game right now. He came up holding his mouth, still is. Yeah, they're going to call an injury timeout on that one as Johnson hit the floor. We got 5:55 left in the game, 49-33. Highlanders up by 16.
We'd like to give thanks to the following grant writers for making this production possible: Ohio Valley Home Health, First Savings Bank, Ernst Carter Orthodontics, and Craft Gadgets LLC. Thank you guys. We wouldn't be here without you.
Gosh, Pioneers are just falling apart right now. And I think I may be right on that one. I think his tooth got knocked out as he smacked the floor.
They had someone in rubber gloves come out and pick it up off the floor.
But with that, so far Highlanders, they've been holding the pressure so far. The dynamic but having Highbreeder sub in on offense and come out on defense does protect them from more fouls. But if they can draw one more charge on Highbreeder, that just might be it for them.
Right, and I mean, credit to the Highlanders. Their star player has come back in, and they've played well.
Washington to inbounds. Gives it to Potes. Potes goes quick with it. He'll bring it out. Potes gives it to Trippier. Gets a pick from Washington. Gives it to Highbreeder. They give it to Trippier. Trippier with it. Pass to Potes. Potes on the right wing. Drives, gives it to Washington. He'll take a three from the corner. Caleb Washington, no good. Ball bounces around. They're going to say off Husky, going to go with the Pioneers.
Husky using that height to keep it out of the Pioneers' hands. He's going. Only thing there he has to improve on is getting the rebound.
Moore will check in for Husky. A little bit different. They usually sub out Highbreeder on some of these defensive plays. Sexton has it. Inside pass there to Wall. Foul on the floor. Offensive foul, I think. And they're going to say offensive foul on Potes. Bouch will check in now for Highbreeder. Looks like it'll be Beatty to inbound from the sideline.
Look for the Pioneers to get something going quick here. That's how they've been effective all game long.
Sexton has it. Bounce pass, a little bit sloppy, goes out of bounds. And quickly Highbreeder will check in. I think Highbreeder has 4 fouls and they keep subbing him in and out. He's on the court for offense, off for defense.
And that's a smart play by Coach Sturgeon there. You have to keep Jake Highbreeder on the court if you want this offense to keep moving as quick as it is. And the best way to do that is to keep him out on defense and keep him out of foul trouble.
Moore to inbounds. Moore inbounds it to Trippier. They give it to Potes. Potes goes quick, drives in, puts up a runner, and that floats beautifully in from Kyle Potes.
He's played well tonight. Credit where credit is due. He's seen the floor well. He's taken advantage of the opportunities given to him, and he has played very well on defense as well.
I know Carver has it. He gives it to Sexton. A 4:40 left in the game. 51-33. Highlanders lead. Quick three from Sexton. No good. Highbreeder gets the board, and Beatty will foul Highbreeder as he got the rebound. It'll be Washington to inbound.
Look for them to inbound to Potes here. Potes has been running the offense well all night long.
We might have to, yep, timeout going to be called there. I mean, Pioneers kind of falling apart here. Player Johnson, he was a big factor. He was up there with Sexton. He took a fall there. They can't seem to get around it. This constant offense of they can't seem to draw that last foul on Highbreeder. And now Potes has shown up. This has been a very different half, and Potes, he has been incredible. He's so fast. He's outrun almost everyone from the backcourts. And if he can convert on those runners, that bodes well for the future when you have a player like that. Yes, he is small, but if he's fast and can catch you off guard, that's going to be deadly when it comes to driving.
That's right. I mean, he's taking advantage of his speed difference here. He's a lot faster than anyone else he's gone up against defensively. The only reason why he doesn't have 6-8 points here is because the man is simply put, he's short.
Yeah.
That's the only way to put it here. And if you're the Providence Pioneers, the best way for you to stay in this game to potentially make a comeback is you're going to have to go back to what worked in the first quarter. And how did they do that? They outran this Highlanders defense. So what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to speed things up and look for the open shot. Now, if you're the Highlanders, how do you adjust to that? You play better perimeter defense. You don't let them inside. And when they do get inside, you don't let them do anything with that opportunity.
Post will inbound for the Highlanders. 4:36 left in the game. 51-33. Highlanders up. Coates to inbound. He inbounds it to Highbreeder. He gives it to Potes. Potes runs around Carver, drives, loses the ball out of bounds. They're going to say he was tipped out by Beatty. It will stay with the Highlanders.
Potes using that speed again. He had a 3-on-1 situation there, and he could have taken advantage of it if he maintained possession.
About 4.5 minutes left here. Highlanders with a strong lead. Highbreeder inbounds it to Washington on the elbow, and they give it to Moore. Moore inside to an open Washington in the paint. Blows the layup. Ball bounces around. Washington fighting for it. Puts up, and Washington with the tenacity on the board.
That's an excellent job by Caleb Washington, just simply using his size and using it well.
Carver, quick three from the Pioneers. That goes in for Carver.
That's the sort of momentum three that the Pioneers need right now.
53-36. Highlanders still up. Potes has it. Pass intended for Washington, gets knocked out by Huber. I'm telling you, they're leaving Washington open in the paint, and they're lucky on that tip.
They're playing scrappy defense right now, and that's how they're keeping the ball out of the paint to Washington. But when it does find Washington, he's unstoppable in the paint right now.
Highbeard inbound. They inbound it to Potes. Potes has it. Guarded by Sexton. They give it to Trippier. Trippier to Highbreeder. Highbreeder still with it. Pulls up from the mid-range. Highbreeder no good. Rebounded by Beatty. Beatty gives it to Huber. Huber gets around Highbreeder on that one. Drives in for the easy layup.
You saw Highbreeder almost step out of the way there to avoid getting in foul trouble. That was smart.
And a quick foul from Sexton as Poach was driving. Yeah, I think they need to foul on that. They can't stop the Highlanders in transition.
That's the only way to, prevent them from breaking down the court and preventing a 5-on-4 situation.
Yes, Trippier to inbound on the sideline as Simmons will check in for Sexton. Sexton's had a great game so far, but no one really stepped up besides him. Trippier inbounds it to Highbreeder. Highbreeder gives it to Potes. Pass to Washington. Washington has it. Drive, stops. Looks for Potes and gets it.
There's this defense that we saw from Providence in the first half.
Potes has it. Picks up his dribble. He seems stuck. Timeout's going to be taken by Todd Sturgeon. Defense of only had stuck with that absolutely monstrous third quarter from the Highlanders. This lead probably wouldn't be as big as it is. It's coming way too late here. Sexton, besides first half, hasn't really done anything. And right now, I got to give props to Highbreeder for making me eat my own words. I love it when players do that. It shows a lot about a player. Could have played better in the first half, but, at least that cold streak of his is finally snapped, and hopefully we can see that progress more in the season.
Right, and he may not have put up the points that we're used to seeing him put up. We saw him drop 33 on Clarksville earlier this year. But he has done well spreading the ball around, finding his open teammates, and his teammates have played excellent tonight. I cannot emphasize that enough. Max Trippier was electric in the first half. Caleb Washington, unstoppable here in the second half. But Salahusky, there's nothing you can do about him in the paint regardless.
Yeah.
Kyle Potes seeing the floor well, spreading the ball around well, and scoring well given the opportunity. Brady Moore has been a defensive force tonight. Overall, just a really well-rounded game for the Highlanders so far tonight. 2:51 here left in the game. Let's see how they close this out.
53-38. Highlanders have the lead right now, up by 15. Pioneers, they want to change it all. They better kick into overdrive, and now Trippier to inbound. Trippier, they inbounded to Highbreeder. Highbrider gives it to Trippier. Trippier now double team. Finally gets the pass over. They give it to Poach. Poach has a right wing. He now gets double team. They give it to Highbrider. Highbrider drives. Throws it out to Moore. Misses the layup. Washington still fighting for the board. And he'll pull it down. Put up a tough shot. Oh my gosh, Caleb Washington.
Excellent shot by Caleb Washington. The tenacity down low from him is unreal tonight.
Deep three from Huber. In and out. They needed something, but I'm not sure that was the shot to go with. Poach has it. Poach drives, hand out to Washington. Fell and one, Caleb Washington.
The man has been unstoppable in the post. Good job by Kyle Poach finding the open man. Excellent pass by him. Caleb Washington just absolutely dominating down low tonight.
He wants to close this game out, and he's very close to doing it. He'll go line for one. He took 2 very hard hits in the first quarter, but he has not let that affect him at all, and he's having a monstrous fourth quarter. First free throw. That misses. Rebounded by Beatty. Highlanders up by 19 now. They give it to Huber. Quick three from Huber. Air ball. Rebounded by Poach. Just under 2 minutes left in the game. Poach gives it to Highbrider. He gets tripped on that one. I think they're going to call blocking foul on Huber. Yeah. So
Highlanders getting into the bonus here with 1:52 left. This could be a huge way to close out this game.
See if Highbrider can convert on the free throws. He's had a great half so far. Let's see if we can get his percentages up.
That's right. I don't think he's missed a free throw all night long. His point total is a bit low for, Jake Highbrider standards.
Yeah, after that atrocious free throw performance last game, he's definitely paying for it. Free throw does go in for Highbrider. That now makes the lead 20. I would not have guessed a 20-point lead after what I saw in that first half. Highlanders have come out.
They made the proper adjustments. They saw how Providence was playing defense, and they adjusted well but on both ends. I mean, what else can you say there?
Second free throw went in. Now makes it a 21-point lead. And this thing over the Highlanders went over the line. Great shot on Brady Moore, and Kevin Woodruff will check into the game. This game pretty much out of reach. 59-38. Highlanders up by 21. 1:46 left in the game. Woodruff coming in now. Looks like Pioneers unloading some of their bench.
To the Pioneers' credit, they adjusted well on defense after the first half. They saw Max Trippier have the first half that he had. They threw double teams his way. The only issue is it led up some more opportunities for the Highlanders.
Right now, Poach has it. He gives it to Woodruff. Woodruff guarded by Finnegan. He gives it to Highbrider. Highbrider drives, stops, pulls up in the mid-range. Bank shot, no good. Fighting for it. Reach and foul is going to be called on Trippier. And we're going to see Hoffman check back into the game.
Gibson coming in too.
So now we're going to see some of these younger players. Their game practically over. Both teams unloaded their bench.
And this is a very young Highlanders team. I'd be interested to see how this lineup plays.
They give it to Johnson. They drive in. Foul going up for the shot. Simmons. He'll go to the line.
Like I said earlier, just an overall well-rounded effort by both teams tonight. The Pioneers played excellent defense all night long. There's just nothing they could do to stop that hot streak to start off the second half.
Simmons misses the first free throw here. Say 3 big factors. Trippier brought them back from that deficit in the first half. And the duo of Washington and Highbrider lighting up these past 2 quarters. This has been an amazing performance. Woodruff gets the rebound, but they quickly steal it. Ball pass to Carver. They try to get it out. Simmons has the top of the key. He'll drive. Poked out by Poach. Going on the floor, and jump ball's going to be called with 1:05 left in the game.
I will say the player that has impressed me the most tonight has been Kyle Poach.
Oh, yeah.
He is a fast player. He reads the offense well. He reads the floor well. And if given the opportunity, he's a very, very capable scorer. I'm excited to see what the future holds for him.
Me too. Poach now has it. 1 minute left. Highlanders up by 21, 59-38 against the Pioneers. Poach drives baseline, gets out to Woodruff. Pass to Gibson. Gibson will try a three, and that goes in for Crew Gibson. Real quick with it, Johnson now has it. Turnaround spin move, shot over Coates, gets rebounded by Hoffman. They'll give it to Coates. Coates has it now guarded by Johnson. Pass to Hoffman, 30 seconds left. They give it to Fisher, then to Gibson. Gibson will try another three. No good. Rebounded by Finnegan, but they'll call a foul before it went out of bounds. At 22 seconds, this game practically over right now. Up by 24 now.
I mean, credit where credit is due. Both teams played well, especially Providence in that first half. They came out guns a-blazing, and I did not expect to see such a first-half performance out of them.
I think Carver has it now, and they stopped the game. I think Highlanders are in the bonus, so yeah, Finnegan will shoot too. That's where the confusion was on. Overall, though, Pioneers, they fell apart in that half. Part of that was for Sexton sitting out part of that third quarter, and of course Johnson, both those being their duo, had to sit out. Johnson has not come back after face planting on the court, and that may have damaged some teeth.
I would say, can you blame the man? They were picking teeth up off the court.
Up by 22 now, Highlanders. With 20 seconds left, they inbound to Potes. Potes with it. They give it to Hoffman. Pass to Fisher, then to Potes. 5 seconds, Potes is just gonna hold it off. Right now, final score of the night, 62-40, Highlanders with a massive 22-point win. Most of that was due to the second half. That was an insane performance from Highbreeder Washington, and even more, they came out, they did what they needed to do, and I could not be more blown away and shocked.
That's right. I mean, excellent all-around game for the Highlanders. They played really, really well-rounded. Caleb Washington, dang near unstoppable down low. Max Trippier had the first half of his life, and even coming into the end there, the bench really sealed it. I mean, from beyond the arc there in the second half, there was nothing the Pioneers could do to stop. The Highlanders were all knocked down. And credit where credit is due, the Pioneers played a really, really good first half. The defense was fast, it was strong. There was nothing that the Pioneers could do.
And now we're gonna pitch over to Sam for some final game stats.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get to the players, let's just talk about the team stats in general. A completely dominant second half from Floyd Central. Outscored the Pioneers 19-6 in the third quarter, 35-16 in the second half. Just a completely dominant second half, complete turnaround from the first half. Best player out there on the floor tonight for Floyd Central, absolutely Caleb Washington, 20 points, 4 offensive rebounds. Just absolutely dominant performance. Kyle Potes also with some huge contributions. It ran the offense extremely efficiently, 5 assists, only 1 turnover. Max Trippier, quiet in the second half, was scoreless, but obviously had huge contributions to the first half. Highbreeder picked it up in the second half. There are just more contributions overall from Floyd Central. And on the Providence side of things, things are not looking good. The team, he had a solid game with 10 points, but I mean, percentages went down, more attempts were made. Not a lot of shots were made. It was just, and turnovers really killed them in the second half. Floyd's defense was a lot more aggressive in the second half. It was just a dominant performance from Floyd Central overall, offensively and defensively.
Again, your final score, 62-40, Highlanders taking home the win. And as for Josh, Michael, and Sam here on FCTV, have a great night.